What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our predictions for UFC 258, specifically the Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman fight. We're going to break it down and give you our analysis for everything you need to know going into UFC 258. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick. Well, UFC 258 has arrived, and I'm really excited. I'm super excited for the Gilbert Burns Kamaru Usman fight. These guys are incredible. They fight against each other all the time. Because they train together. It's absolutely absurd that it's actually happening for real. The only negative thing I will say, and I don't want it to come off too negative, is that I'm a little underwhelmed with this card as a whole. I think that there should have been a couple bigger names that that could have been on the main card, but no, nevertheless, I'm always interested to see who's coming up and who's going to make a name for themselves on this card.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, but I also believe in the matchmakers with the UFC. I think that they know what they're doing. They haven't failed us in a very long time. And even though the Uriah Hall fight has fallen through, I think that they still have a card that they know will deliver. And we're going to see some talent that we may not know yet. But come Saturday night, we're going to see some new faces that we think could be at the top of some of these divisions. So I'm excited to see and learn about these new fighters who are waiting and ready to break into the top 10, top 5 of some of these divisions. Very excited for that. But when it comes down to the main event, this should carry the pay-per-view on its own. Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, this is the third time that we have tried to get this fight, and we're finally getting it in UFC Apex Center, Las Vegas, the 25-foot ring. These two are just going to hammer each other. Former partners, they worked a ton together for years, and now that they have had a couple years apart, they've been training separately. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what they've learned different from each other and what is still the same that they both know from each other, because having two guys who have spent that much time together and know everything about their opponent, you need to add new things to your arsenal. That way your opponent doesn't know what's coming next, because it's one of those situations where you're going to have to bring your A game to win, especially when you're up against Kamaru Usman, regarded as one of the best welterweights of all time. And I believe if Kamaru Usman can defeat Gilbert Burns, I think he makes a case why he is the best welterweight of all time, and yes, better than George St. Pierre. I think that Kamaru Usman has had many, many title defenses and continues to dominate his competition, that you can't just keep sleeping on this guy as one of the greatest ever. He just keeps showing up every single time and keeps delivering. We can't keep saying that GSP is the end-all be-all of the welterweight division anymore. And Gilbert Burns is one of the toughest tasks that Kamaru Usman has ever had to face. And this is going to be a true test. And that's why I say if he can defeat Gilbert Burns, then this is going to be a hotly debated topic.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, the best thing about this matchup is there's no secrets. These guys have gone against each other in training so many times that they know the ins and outs of what the other guy's trying to do. They know exactly what their tendencies are. They know how they feel when they're on the mat. I mean, there is literally no secrets about what's going to happen. It is going to be a stand up and fight, absolutely knock your socks off type of fight. And I'm ready. I'm signed up. I'm ready to go. With that being said, Kamaru Usman is arguably one of the most dominant UFC champions that we've had in our generation. I mean, simply speaking, he is one of the best fighters, and you're talking about, him in contention with GSP for one of the best welterweights ever. I would argue that he's kind of there already. At 17-1, he's done nothing but dominate the UFC. And the only reason he doesn't get the spotlight more is because he doesn't engage. He's not as marketable as, Israel Adesanya or Conor McGregor or any of these guys. He doesn't trash talk. He doesn't do much. He's very quiet. He's very reserved. And listen, people that they sign up for the fireworks. They don't sign up for quiet and reserved. It's just that simple. But Kamaru Usman takes care of his business inside the octagon, and it's no joke because what he brings is everything and then some. I think Gilbert Burns, who is still relatively new to this division, is going to have his hands full. I mean, grappling and training is one thing, but when you're in it for real and you're going to get the full strength of what Kamaru Usman has, Gilbert Burns, I don't think is anywhere near prepared. I think this is going to be a very quick fight. I don't think that he's going to last as long. I don't see it even going to decision. I honestly see Kamaru Usman being able to take care of business early and often.
I actually don't believe that this is going to be a quick fight. I'm pretty surprised you would say that because Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, when you know your fighter as well as these two guys do, you're going to take your time. You're not going to rush into anything because they're going to know how to counter everything. I expect a lot of this fight to be standing up. I mean, I know in that 25-foot ring, it's going to be very easy to just put your opponent up against that cage and bring him down to the ground. But these two are both very, very technical on the ground and know what they're doing. And that's not the fight that they're going to want because you're not going to want this to go to decision. These two have had many fights in their career go to decision, and this is not one you're going to want to leave up to the judges. So I think that they're going to want to keep this on the feet, but we're not going to see them truly start to throw those haymakers until the championship rounds. And Gilbert Burns, as many dominant fights he has had in his career, he truly hasn't had too many big name fights. And really only two, Damian Maia, where he knocked him out in the first round, but the next one, Dan Hooker, where Dan Hooker knocked him out. I think that when we look at what Kamaru Usman has done against top tier competition, he has faced the best of the best in the welterweight division for years and beaten them all. I just think that Kamaru Usman has the edge over Gilbert Burns. He's faced tough competition at the very top for so long, and he's seen everything on the ground and standing up that he'll be able to handle his own against Gilbert Burns.
I would say, just to answer your question, the reason that I talk about this fight actually being quick is because these guys are both known for their very slow pace early on in fights. They try to feel out their opponents. If you looking at some of their tape, they don't attack pretty often except for the Gilbert Burns Damian Maia fight. That was in and of its own right. Outside of that, these guys take their time. They size up their opponent and then they attack when opening. To use your words against you, I think they're going to do what the unexpected. I think they're going to try to go after each other early and often, which is why I don't see it going that far. I think they're going to try to mix it up. I think you have to. I think you have to try something new because again, like I said, there's no secrets between these guys. They know exactly what the other one's about, and if you completely change up your approach, that is going to be the one thing that can catch them by surprise. So I think that's going to be the thing that we have to take a look at and say, you know what, maybe these guys actually take a step back and they start off hot right from the beginning.
Either way, I truly expect this to be an amazing fight and one that will completely deliver for this pay-per-view. But I think we can both agree, we both expect Kamaru Usman to have his hand raised at the end of the night.
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll be arguably one of the best pound for pound fighters that in today's UFC that you can talk about. But until then, we'll recap it. We'll talk all about it. But I'm really excited for UFC 258 and everything that it's going to bring. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that notification bell to be notified when we go live. What is it, Nick?
Every day.
Every single day. That's right. All right. Well, that'll be all. Thank you all for watching. Peace and love.